Alexander Albon, congratulations. It is my pleasure to give you the intern MVP of the race award. Who would have thought, Alexander Albon, who would have thought that Williams would be getting double points finishes in 2025? I was told that this is going to be a terrible year. They're going to tank. They're just getting signs to get him used to the team. They're going to tank this year because the Merc engines were going to cook next year. And they were just going to sacrifice this season to build a banger car in 2026 so that they could make a decent run at the constructors. But it appears that decent run has begun a year early. These guys have been cooking, and you could argue Albon isn't just the MVP of this race, but he low-key might be MVP of the entire season. Because truth be told, man, when this season started, or even before it, I swore Sainz was going to show him levels. It was a foregone conclusion in my brain that Carlos Sainz was going to get the better of this guy. And it just hasn't happened. It really hasn't happened. And we are now at a point where Alexander Albon has scored in all but one race this year. And that race was Bahrain. Albon's been that guy, man. 5th in Australia, 7th in China, 9th in Japan, 12th in Bahrain, 9th in Saudi, and now another 5th in Miami on pure pace. A pure pace P5 for a Williams at a street track. I thought they were straight line speed merchants, but it appears they have great cornering as well. It must be spoken about, man. What Albon is doing this year has completely superseded my expectations. And he deserves credit. He deserves credit because especially last year when Colapinto came on the scene and was occasionally beating, well, I shouldn't say beating, but I'll never forget Kota happened, and I was like, listen, man, this Colapinto guy might be the future of Williams, man. They might need to part ways with Albon and just have a Colapinto Sainz lineup. I was genuinely thinking about that in my head because I'm like, Colapinto brings the funding, and he was somewhat close to Albon. Maybe Albon maybe he's not that serious for the team anymore. But clearly that is not the case. Alex Albon is literally the team leader of Williams as we speak. And he's been the team leader of Williams since 2022. And they brought in Sainz, a guy that's won 4 Grand Prix, raced with Ferrari, raced with McLaren. A guy you'd think, in theory, would just step right in and immediately snatch Albon's chain. But that just hasn't happened, man. This is low-key Albon's greatest season. Or at least his greatest start to a season, probably ever. Not even when he was with Red Bull, I don't think things were going this well. Maybe he was literally finishing higher. But in terms of the performance on track, this is it, man. Alex Albon is literally 9 points behind Lewis Hamilton in a Ferrari right now. 9. Pretty insane. Pretty insane on paper. He's ahead of Ocon. He's ahead of the Astons. He's ahead of the V-Carbs. He's ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Like, he's having a great year, man. A very good one. Like, look at Sainz. Sainz is 13th in points right now. He's only scored in 3 Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Albon scored in all but 1. And even when, like, the only race Sainz has beaten Albon in all year is Saudi. And that's because they needed Albon to stay behind so that they could both work together to keep Hadjar behind. There's an argument Albon was probably faster than Sainz on that final stint and purposefully stayed behind to make sure that they got the finish they needed to prevent Hadjar from taking points from one of them. But yeah, man. Like, I can't even really get into the race itself because not much really happened. But I just feel like the P5 itself is just so symbolic of Albon's season that I had to give him MVP because, again, what a drive. He beat both Ferraris. That's insane. Who would have seen that coming? I know the Ferrari isn't really the best car of the season, but it's surely no slouch. It's surely no slouch. I didn't think there'd be a I didn't think there'd be a race all year where a Williams would be beating a Ferrari on pace. I knew it wasn't on the level of the Red Bull. Well, I guess it is sometimes. It wasn't on the level of the McLaren, maybe not even the Merc. But I didn't think it was in Williams territory, but clearly it was at least this one weekend. And I'm like, listen, man, if we keep getting more of these races where Williams are competitive, they might expect more double points finishes, even though I'm pretty sure they're still sacrificing this year's car. And Albon's really getting it back in blood, man. Because again, Even forget the Colapinto thing. I remember when Albon was not in F1 at all. 2021, he had to sit out a year. He honked at Red Bull. They didn't give him the AlphaTauri seat. And bro was on the sidelines doing DTM and testing F1 cars. He came back for Williams, and then the argument was that Albon was having weak teammates that he could easily stat pad on. He had Latifi for a year. Then what? He had Sargent for 2.5 years. Then he had Colapinto. Three guys that just didn't really step up to the plate. Maybe Colapinto occasionally did, but Colapinto was an inexperienced rookie without testing that also was kind of crash prone. So you could argue Albon's never really been challenged at Williams, but he's being challenged in theory right now by Carlos Sainz, a Grand Prix winner, and he's holding his own. And whether or not you think that's because Albon is more used to the Williams and Sainz is trying to learn this new car. He's been driving a Ferrari in the ground effect era this whole reg package. Sainz has been driving a Ferrari. And again, I bring it up all the time. A lot of drivers that have switched teams have struggled in matriculating to the new car and the new environment. Sainz is one of those drivers. But that doesn't take away from what Albon is doing. Alex Albon, you are the MVP of the race. You might genuinely be the MVP of the season, but I don't want to say things. I don't want to be too knee-jerky yet. I'm gonna let more time pass, but for now, enjoy your award and let's see who wins it when we go to Imola this weekend.
Yeah.